Music theory is great. Music theory can also be a lot, sometimes too much maybe. Today we're going to take a look at some simple steps that we can take to make music out of the theory that we know. Hey, I'm Eric Haugen. Check the description box below for tabs and backing tracks on my website, information about exactly what sound tools I'm using today, live streams, and more on Patreon, and my deep dive courses. It's all on my website. Say we just learned the G major scale. And yes, we know that those are notes. We also probably know by now that each one of those notes generates a chord. Here we go. F sharp, minor 7, flat 5, and that's just how it is. Back to the G. The reason that's in minor 7, flat 5 is because a diminished triad gets played like that, and you're just not going to do that. You add the one more note, it becomes a minor 7, flat 5. Wow, that's really interesting. That's so cool. You got the notes, they make the melodies, and they also make the chords. We don't really need to go into why that is, just accept it. The next thing to do would be to spend some time making up little progressions from that and grooving them. Oh, I don't know. I always say to do stuff like this. I'm going to get this close to the camera and centered. Have a piece of paper handy to write down chord progressions. What if I did a 1, 2, 6, 4? Cool progression though, pretty simple. 1, 2, 6, 4. Of course, the original I think is in the key of G flat. But yeah, to do that, to try out different progressions, yeah, you can make up your own. I just thought it would be fun to reference some Chapel Roan today. So try a couple out on your own. Stay in the key of G. Don't drift off into all the other keys. Stay with one key and get really good at that one key first. So staying in the key of G, the other thing to do next would be to analyze songs that you already know. And so yeah, I'm pulling some Blur. Look Inside America, maybe Blur's best song. I definitely top 10. It's also a lot like Freebird. It's also a lot like Wonderful Tonight. It's also a lot like He Blew His Mind Out in a Car, A Day in the Life. Yeah, it's got that walk down. So let's see, we got G. That's the 1. This is the verse we're looking at. First 4 chords, that's a 1 chord. That's still a 5 chord, even though there's an F sharp in the bass. E minor's the 6. That's straight out of, is that straight out Day in the Life? Well, E minor 7, that's the 6. And here's an interesting thing. And this is the thing about learning the rules so you can break the rules. That F, we know that that note's not in the key. Happens so much throughout rock and roll. It kind of is. Just accept it as one of the things. But really, that F is coming from G mixolydian. And so here's a little takeaway about that. When you're writing a song, you have the key that you wrote the song in, the key of G. There's the chords in the key of G. You're actually allowed to borrow chords from any of the other parallel keys of G. And so in this case, we're stealing that F from G mixolydian, which there's the chords for G mixolydian. You could say we're stealing the chords from G minor. There's the chords for G minor. Really, it's kind of like, I think we're all hip to the parallel universe kind of thing. When you're writing a song, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to just, you got the main key, grab a chord from over there and put it together. And it creates those cool little surprises. Day in the Life. everything up to this point was compositional, as though you're writing the song. Let's switch over to parts writing theory, where we connect the idea of chords appearing and keys appearing onto our fretboard. So we're going to go back to Pink Pony Club with the G, A minor, E minor, C. I love simple progressions like that. They're totally within the key, but like, again, they're not the most common moves. So then what we're going to do is connect it to caged shapes. Again, caged, the principle of caged is really, dude, where's my chords? They appear 5 different ways on the fretboard. G, 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 G. Like different, that's a G that's shaped like a G. This is a G that's shaped like a D. I put the root in. Here's a G that's shaped like a C. Here's a G that's shaped like an A. And it really is true. All the triads, all the arpeggios, all the inversions, all the scales fit there. They go with those placeholders. And so what I say to do is not even going very far, staying in a low region, shrink the shapes into 3-string groups and play those changes. This is great for rhythm guitar parts. Because here's a G, here's an A minor that nobody likes, but yeah, that is a G-shaped A minor. Why? Well, because if we had a capo, that would be A, flat 3rd, E minor, cool, C over G. That's throughout that Blair song too, that's kind of neat. What if I move to the next 3 fatter strings? Creates a kind of cool little guitar part. Let's look at that again. Here's the G. That's the A minor. There's A minor, there's A minor. So it's those 3 of the G-shaped A minor. Here's the E minor again. And I put in a little, I guess that's a add 4. And here's the C. I just left it like that. I could have gone, but I liked this part. And then as we get to the chirpier and chirpier region, kind of as we get higher on the guitar, I tend to not arpeggiate as much, and I might do a part like that. Notice though, I'm not hitting strictly on the backbeat. I'm hitting 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2. Great part that can layer right into a song. Let's check out the skinniest 3 strings. That last little thing I did there, let's see. Here's a C, the A-shaped C. Here's a C major pentatonic scale. Major chords, the major pentatonic, always sounds good. I have courses about this. Yeah, Guitar Zen Caged deals with this. I mean, everything I ever do deals with this. Pentatonics are the oldest scale. They're the scale that was around before music theory even existed. So if we want a really fundamental primal understanding of what notes to do to what chords, pentatonics, major pentatonics for major, minor pentatonics for minor chords. So I just did some flatty double stops. Always sound cool. Just for grins, let's look at the guitar solo from Look Inside America, because it's so freaking cool. Dusky Augustus, octave fuzz engaged. Starts off there with a very orchestral G major. You're like, okay, that's the key. Oh, weird. Up to an A major. It's a secondary dominant. We won't go into that today. Again, breaking some rules, but then this very like freaked out George Harrison thing. All right, let's look at that. The chord is an A minor, so I can tell that he sees this. He's definitely citing the A minor scale, but then doing the very George Harrison thing of the pre-bend. 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 Don't know why he did that, but he did. Yep, and bending that F natural all the way up to a G as it loops around again. Similar George Harrison licks, but a little bit different. Yeah, there we go. Yep. I'm not sure what fuzz he's using. It's a very strange guitar tone. It sounds very like they definitely EQ'd the crap out of it. It's very mid-rangey, almost sounds very telephony, but octave fuzz. Here comes the D chord. There's a D, there's a D. Again. And then a bunch of G octaves over the C chord. Watch what happens if I do this little lick. With an octave fuzz, you get ring modulation. Notice we're not talking about how to break rules. I think that that's intuitive. I will say this, there's such a thing as a good surprise or a bad surprise. And like, obviously that's a very subjective term, but here's what I mean. You know, we're always looking for a cool turn in a chord progression. So let's go back to the verse of Look Inside America. Here's what we have there with that F chord is a nice, subtle, a good surprise. Right? That it's a little unexpected, but not too unexpected. Let's see if I can generate a bad surprise, something that just feels a little bit maybe too random. Kind of weird, but also not the worst thing in the world. One more time. Again, the more times I play it, the more I like it. You know, I could have gone really ugly, but yeah, that's a little bit of a weird thing to do, to jump to a random C sharp minor. But it kind of makes sense, because if you listen, we have this descending thing. There's a D there, so I was like, oh. Walk it down. Not the worst thing in the world. Depending on your ears, you might be like, actually, Eric, that was pretty cool. Or you might be like, yeah, I agree, that's kind of stupid. It's all subjective. I use music theory not to generate ideas. So I always think creative intuition is always the most important thing. Music theory comes in handy when something just doesn't feel right, or you think it's not going to land. That's when you can actually, get your glasses out, get your paper out, and be like, what's going on here? Why is this chord progression feel just a little too clunky? That is where it comes in handy, in making things more palatable for a listener other than yourself. That's all we're going to talk about for today. Thanks so much to everybody who supports me in all the ways that you do. Like, subscribe, and share. Those things cost you nothing, and they do help us out immensely, and I appreciate it. One more time, how my business works. Patreon is where there's live Q&As, backing tracks, charts, and more, and I'm updating that every week. And I also make comprehensive deep dive courses. And I do think, let's see, with this lesson today, Guitar Zen Cage definitely deals with that. Honestly, Playing the Changes deals with it. Okay, all my courses deal with this stuff. This is what I do. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. If that includes yourself, happy Friday, eat pizza.